Welcome to today's lesson. You're going to need a composition book for notes and a pen or pencil. All right, so today we're going to talk about percent of increase or decrease. Now, a percent of increase or decrease is when something changes and you have a starting number and an ending number, and then you have to find a percent of that number. To find a percent of increase or decrease of any type of discount, if you use the formula difference over original equals x over 100, this proportion works for every problem. So let's take a look at one. Actually, you need to pause and write that down, and then we're going to look at one. Okay, so a person goes on a diet, goes from 125 pounds to 110 pounds. What is a percent of decrease? Well, how do I know it's a decrease? Because the numbers are going down. So the first thing I want to do is find the difference of those two numbers. I subtract 125 and 110, and I get 15. And now I'm going to set up my proportion. 15 over the original amount. Not what it ended with, not the biggest, what you started with. So this would be 15 over 125 equals x over 100. Now let's set up our proportion. Let's PEA. So my equation would be 125x equals 1500. Divide both sides by 125, and I get x equals 12%. If you're finding a percent of increase or decrease, you better have a percent sign. Okay, so let's try another one. During a sale, a dress decreased in price from 90 to 72. What was the percent of decrease? I want you to pause and try this problem. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is find my difference. That was $18. I'm going to set up my proportion, which would be 18 over 90 equals x over 100. Set up my equation, which would be 90x equals 1800. Solve, and I get 20%. It's a 20% decrease. All right, let's try another one. All right, so what's my difference here? 16. What's my original? 200. So my proportion is going to be 16 over 200 equals x over 100. My equation, 200x equals 1600. And my answer is an 8% increase because it's going up. All right, you get to do this one on your own. Bring it to class tomorrow. The next thing we're going to do is simple interest. Now, simple interest is something that is charged when you borrow money, or a lot of times when you have money in a bank account, they'll give you simple interest for keeping your money in the bank. Now, we use a formula to find simple interest, and that is interest equals principal times rate times time. Now, in your principal and your rate and your time, they each have a specific part. The principal is what you borrow or what you have in your account. Your rate is the percent in the problem, but it has to be written as a decimal. And the time is always in terms of years. So we always use I equals P times R times T. Pause and write this down. So simple interest is used for short-term business loans, real estate loans, and most automobile loans. So let's actually look at a problem. I want you to find an interest on $6,000 at 8% for 2 years. So in this problem, my principal is the $6,000. My rate is the 8% written as a decimal. Remember to change your percent to a decimal, you move it over 2 places. And my time is 2 for 2 years. So I would do 6,000 times 0.08 times 2. Go ahead and work that out. So my interest is $960. Don't forget your dollar sign. And that's all there is to it. So let's try another one. Let's try one where it's not a full year. So on this problem, what's my principal? $3,400. What's my rate? 6% or 0.06. Got to write it as a decimal. And how would you write your time if it's half of a year? 0.5 or 1/2. Now let's multiply it. 3,400 times 0.06 times 0.5 would be $102. All right, see you in class tomorrow.